Hello! So, I have shown you the Peugeot, my vintage bike that's in Canada, and I've shown you the Brodie, which is the bike I rode across Canada on. So I thought I should show you my road bike. So this is the first road bike I ever bought, and this year I'm actually upgrading my road bike. I'm looking to get one with disc brakes. So I absolutely love this bike, and that is pretty much the only thing I don't like about it. I'm just used to the disc brakes on the Brodie, and I really miss them when I'm on this bike. So I'll give you a tour of it, show you what I like, show you what I don't. Alright, I have a cold, so I'm going to try to do this without sniffing to death for you guys. This is my road bike. As you can see, it's a Boardman, which is what my first commuting bike was, my hybrid. And I think the Boardmans offer fantastic value for money. This is the Boardman Team Carbon FI, and it is a 10-speed cassette on the back, so it gives me a good range of gears, and I'll just go over a little bit in more detail in a minute. But I really think the Boardman, the key to getting good value for money from them is that they put the more expensive components where it matters most. So I'll show you what I mean about that in a second. And so this bike full retail was £1,000, and it's a 2014 model, I believe. I've had it for almost 3 years this May, and it served me well. I've enjoyed every minute on it. It is light, it is peppy, it's fun, it's got a sporty, aggressive sort of positioning. So it's a fantastic road bike and a great first road bike. They say you never forget your first, and I'll be really sad to see this one go. If I could justify keeping it, I would, but it will be hard to do. So let's get on with the tour. So we'll start at the front. So you see I've got my Garmin mount attached. That's what that is. And the shifters, they are Shimano Tigra shifters, so that's one part of where the money was saved in the components, and they shift fine and they do the job and no problems there. The stem here, I had a spacer put in when I had my bike fitted to make it adjusted for me. And the wheels, they're Mavic. I think they're pretty smart looking. They're nothing special. They're just, they look good and they do the job. So I have these water bottle cages, which they match the bike nicely, but they do fade and get a bit dingy looking, so I might consider on my next bike doing something metal. Down into chainrings here, I have a 50-34 chainring, and gives me a good range there. And as you've seen before, I have the mountain bike style pedals, double-sided now. I did originally start with a pedal that was flat on one side and mountain bike cleat on the other side, but now I've changed to the double, so I don't have to worry about which way is up. The front derailleur is a Tigra, so it does the job, that's fine. But the rear derailleur it's a short derailleur, and it's a 105, a Shimano 105. So like I said, I think that's a really good place to put more money, because the rear, you shift so much more than the front, and the shifting is really lovely and smooth, and the jumps are, they're comfortable as far as the distance between each gear. And I've shifted out my cassette. It's a 10-speed cassette that's shifted out, so I needed a extra gear for the mountains and the Pyrenees, so it's actually an Ultegra cassette on the back there right now. So yeah, I have a friend, she rides with a full Ultegra set, so a higher end component set than I have on this bike, and she commented how lovely my gears shifted, how smoothly. It says a lot about how you keep your bike. Keeping it clean, keeping the gears indexed makes for a much more pleasant ride. One of the reasons I'm upgrading my bike this year is because I miss the disc brakes when I'm on this bike as compared to the Brodie. So these are just your clincher type rim brakes, and they do the job, but I just prefer the discs better. I feel like I have more control. And then onto the saddle. This is the saddle I rode across Canada on, the Salitalia. I love this saddle. It's really comfortable, and of course it has the channel. So I've mentioned before, my issue is numbness. So as long as I have that channel, I'm pretty much okay. This one is pretty squishy. It's the Gel Flow Salitalia, and I might look for a more firm saddle next time round, just because I think your short should be doing the padding more so than your saddle. And I'd like to experiment with that theory. And so yeah, that is the bike. You'll notice my handlebars. I really like the white trim on this bike, and that's why I got the white pedals. But the handlebars, as you can see, they're a bit dirty, and I've left them that way, strangely, for you guys, because I'm going to do a video coming soon on how to get white handlebars white again. So it's a fantastic bike. I really highly recommend the Boardmans. I've been happy with both my Boardmans, and they're really great value for money. It's a fun bike to ride. It's such a good, light, fun bike, so I highly recommend the Boardmans, and I'll be keeping you up to date with what I choose next.